This presentation extends the faithful intelligence framework by engaging critical questions that would typically arise during peer review. The purpose is to clarify the framework's contribution, scope, and trajectory within ongoing scholarly discourse. This session is structured as a critical engagement. The goal is not to defend the framework, but to refine it through rigorous questioning. Strong theoretical models develop through this process of clarification and constraint. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how knowledge is produced, mediated, and trusted. In religious education, this shift is particularly significant because these environments are not only informational but formational. The current gap is the absence of explicitly theological frameworks for evaluating these changes. The central contribution of faithful intelligence is the reframing of AI as a formative authority rather than a neutral tool. This framework integrates theology, ethics, and pedagogy to evaluate how AI shapes belief, identity, and moral reasoning. This concern reflects a legitimate tension. The framework is grounded in Christian theology, but it is intentionally structured for comparative application. It should be understood as a situated model that invites interfaith engagement rather than asserting universal applicability. Secular AI ethics frameworks primarily evaluate system behavior. Faithful intelligence extends this analysis by examining how AI shapes human formation. The distinction lies in adding a theological anthropology dimension to existing ethical considerations. The framework does not impose theology onto technology. Instead, it evaluates technology within a theological context. All ethical systems operate from normative assumptions. This framework makes those assumptions explicit and subject to critique. Discernment is reframed as a structured, evaluated process rather than a subjective intuition. It operates through consistent analytical questions regarding authority, moral influence, and dependency. Future work will formalize this into institutional tools. At this stage, the framework is intentionally conceptual. This reflects a standard progression in research. Conceptual clarity precedes application, which then enables empirical validation. Advancing prematurely to application will weaken the model. These examples demonstrate that AI is already active in religious educational contexts. The critical issue is not usage, but influence, specifically how AI shapes interpretation, authority, and belief formation. The framework is designed for comparative development. Its core categories are adaptable and intended to support dialogue across traditions while maintaining theological integrity within each context. This work is currently normative and theoretical, which is appropriate for early stage framework development. It establishes the conceptual variables necessary for future empirical investigation. Faithful intelligence contributes a theological lens for evaluating AI, integrates ethics with pedagogy, and establishes a foundation for governance. The central claim remains AI participates in formation, not merely function. Faithful intelligence is a developing framework that addresses a growing gap between technological advancement and theological reflection. It is offered as a structured contribution to an ongoing scholarly conversation. AI tools were used to assist with drafting and structuring. All conceptual frameworks and scholarly interpretations are the original intellectual work of the author. Faithful intelligence is an original conceptual framework developed by Jermaine E. Whiteside. This presentation represents an early scholarly articulation within an ongoing research and publication agenda.